Hello, world. Hello. Been in Japan too long. Um, Hello, world. It's Dave again, and I got another culture shock video for you. I haven't done one of these in a long, long time, and it kind of links into the title of this video, which is "The Thrill Is Gone." And I don't mean that so negatively as the title suggests, but it really is the idea that basically, when I first arrived, of course, you have all these different things that are happening for you, all these different things that are going through. Where when I remember first arriving in Tokyo, it kind of, I knew that they drove on the other side of the street here. And so when I was first walking around Tokyo, I was like, does that somehow change the walking patterns on the side of the road? So am I walking on the wrong side of the road? And just like every aspect of my experience here was in some way culture shock, basically. My arm is twitching so bad from the gym. It's hilarious. I've screwed it up and it's got to recover. So like I'm saying, every single aspect of what I did, it was like whether I was walking on the right side of the road or I went into a grocery store for the first time and I handed the money to people directly when you're supposed to put it into a little tray, just a little cultural detail that they have here. And for the first while, it was so easy to make the videos. And then after a while, I've noticed that I've reached that point, I guess now as I enter, this is now the second day of my 9th month, where it's finally happened. I just woke up and I was like, I just don't have that anymore. And it's now been replaced by a different part of the experience. And it's really exciting now to feel more comfortable, to be, infinitely more at home now, where, just the other day I was talking to my friends, I was saying, top 10 experiences in Japan. I had a full-on conversation with somebody, at a low level, but in Japanese. And that really does cement my experience here, where the language is now setting in and I can speak it to some extent. If somebody comes down to my level, then I can have a conversation with them. And I can do all these other things that now I'm getting really excited about because I can be more a part of the culture because of the language. I feel more comfortable in my job. But I really realized now all those things that made me so uncomfortable to begin with, I really do kind of miss. And you'd never think when you're in the midst of all that discomfort to begin with that, you would give anything at the beginning to just feel a little more at home, a little more at place, and not so awkward about everything. But then when it's gone, it's that grass is always greener syndrome, where you really do appreciate just what a magical place somewhere is if you're completely unfamiliar with it. And inevitably that's going to change. Of course, you spend time, you learn the language, you get used to your job. And I guess the whole point of this video is just to make the point that as much as you might come over and struggle, to really appreciate that time at the beginning. And I think I did a half decent job of it, where as much as it's uncomfortable, recognize that discomfort is at the same time really exhilarating. It's really cool to be in a place where you're completely unfamiliar and everything is so new. It's really, just use the word invigorating. Life feels like it started over again, where look at this thing, it's going off all the time. Where, you just feel, like every single female pop artist, you feel reborn. And it's a really cool thing. And of course you're going to appreciate as you become more solidified. But to really appreciate that new experience when you get over here and embrace how awkward everything is, because boredom is worse than awkwardness. That's what I would say. That's what I've learned from it, is that I'd way rather be out of my depth and kind of excited about the prospect of everything being different than for absolutely everything to be familiar and then just to be bored with it. Where then time passes so slowly because everything and you can seeing to the end of something is kind of the worst case scenario. I like each day to be a little more new, and there's still room for that, now, because I'm a little, like I'm using all these words to describe being settled. I can travel more easily now because I don't, again, feel out of my depth. There's still a whole world of discovery to enjoy and places to see and all these different things. but it's now enjoyed in a different way. Just like, what's a easy parallel? When you grow up, it's such a mystery to be able to drink alcohol, and you would do anything, you'd sneak alcohol all the time. You do whatever you could to get your hands on something to drink when you were young because it was so forbidden. And then as soon as you're able to drink, it becomes far less appealing. Maybe not for everybody, but when some of that excitement isn't there for it, you don't, the rush is, that it's new and it's different. And when you get it, you can enjoy it with your friends. You can be in a party, but it's not quite that same exhilaration that you get when you raided your parents' stockpile of booze or whatever. This might not be an example of everyone. Yeah, so that's it. And so I guess I've got to head out into Japan now. As much as the like I've titled this, the thrill is gone. I've got to go out and kind of enjoy it in a different context now, and that's okay. But the transitions like this happen in such a way that you just don't notice them happening. That's kind of the thing of change. Unless you take the time to really reflect on your life or notice these things, they'll pass you by and you won't realize it. And this one kind of did. I would say it's probably occurred in the last 2 months. It took about 6 months before I actually got to this state. But now that I'm heading into my 9th month, I'm happy to make this video on this subject because it's really starting to feel that way, where I just feel I know how to do my job. I'm starting to get a better handle on the language, and a lot of that initial excitement has worn off. And I need to balance that with the fact that it's not like it's boring, except you need to set about having an interesting time in different ways. And I can make a note here that I can kind of now respect how I can see how people can become these individuals who just enjoy traveling so much, because I can kind of see how somebody might get addicted to that new feeling. That look at the thing go, like that's not me doing that. I can see how they can get addicted to going to all these different places so they can continue to experience that sort of, that being out of depth and the exhilaration that you feel, and how time passes so quickly when it forces you into a moment. Let's put it that way. You've never been more in the moment than when you're trying to figure everything out, and everywhere that you go is unfamiliar to you. So yeah, I don't want to make this continue. I don't want to repeat my points from it, but it was just weird. This is definitely, a major milestone in my experience of traveling and the change, the whole process of change that you experience going through it. And I thought I'd make a video for it, especially for this culture shock series, because I haven't, as I've so thoroughly explained now. But into the future I go, and it's exciting in a new way. Not quite, like the going to the moon feeling that I had when I first arrived here, but it's a more I hesitate to use the word mature. Let's just say different. It's just a different experience now. And I guess I should make a note here as well that you can just explore things in different ways now. You absolutely can. Yeah, don't want to make this movie drag on. I feel like I've made my point. Final thing would be that when you do come, make sure that you enjoy that awkwardness if you do come, or if you travel anywhere to have a new job. You're going to have that experience like I've had, where you're out of it to begin with, and to not just try and move so quickly beyond that. Really get lost in the fact that it's all new and all exciting. It's only good. All right, cool. Well, that's the end of this video. And like I like to say, until we meet again next time, world, thanks for tripping with Dave. Ciao for now. If you like, like, subscribe, share, all that good stuff, and more videos to come. Peace.